Hello and welcome back to Lenko Show. This is episode number 141. I am not going to stand on ceremony here today because I just want to get straight into this. Arthur Kingdom is here joining me on the show. Welcome, my friend. How are you?
I'm very good. Thank you for having me on.
Good man. If you don't mind, just give a bit of a brief introduction before we dig into a lot of detail. Just let people know exactly who you are, what you've been up to.
Arthur Kingdom, 22 years old, and play professional American football in Europe.
Not
So
not a bad start.
not a bad start, is it?
Obviously, last season with the Prague Lions,
Yep.
how was that? Just talk us through that because I think, I mean, in line for Defensive Rookie of the Year, big season. Did it exceed you? Did you even exceed your own expectations going into it?
I think on a personal level, I think that was a goal I wanted to just like strive for. I think that was, I mean, going into the season, that's the big thing I mainly wanted. But Prague was an interesting case because originally, if you look at their seasons past, they weren't very good. So when they reached out, I was like, okay. Like I saw some of the other guys they signed. I was like, okay, they signed some, you know, pretty pretty good players. Um, and I was like, you know what, new coaching staff. Let's give it a crack. And then 3 weeks in, you realize, oh no, these Czech guys can actually play some football. They just haven't won any games. They're not used to winning. They didn't know how to win. So our kind of as a group of imports, we had to be like, okay, how are we going to change this culture and turn it into a winning culture? And I think by the end of the season, even though we did fall short of the playoffs by a game, I do think that we did help change that culture, and Prague will be a team that is competitive for years to come because of it.
I mean, it's quite a lot to take on for someone who's 22 years old for your first year in the ELF to step into a team and go, right, we're going to make this into a winning culture. Like the mindset behind that, just talk us through that. Like, where's that come from?
I think that's just my whole life growing up. Like, I think it definitely stems from being the oldest of five. I just always had this like natural leadership and I had this natural want to lead. I think it's important to have a leader and not there's not always leaders everywhere. Um, and so I take a lot of pride in it. Um, and every team I've been on, I've tried to do my part and lead. Even if I get voted as captain or not, I still want to be a leader on that team, be vocal. Um, and there's different parts of leadership that I keep learning more and more about, and it's not always about the hoorah before a game or you know all that stuff, but it's also okay. How can you prepare your teammate, like the guy next to you, for a game? That's also leadership. Talking with him of how he watches film, how he studies the game, or some guy's having a bad practice and he's having an off day. Like it's going to him to the side and talking to him. There's so many different types of leadership that I'm still learning more about. But I take a lot of pride in it. So when signing with Prague, we talked as imports, and I was like, that we have to do it. And they brought in a great set of imports who are all leaders themselves, and we kind of all bought in. We're like, right, let's just crack on with it, and because it's possible.
Yeah. I was
And
going to
I think we got it done.
Yeah, I was going to say, so from that initial conversation that you guys had,
Yes.
I suppose you could call it like a leadership group as opposed to just being imports, but what were the steps that you guys then took and what kind of standards and things did you put in place to be like, this is how we're going to do things, this is how we're going to create or help create that winning culture and kind of flip the script and change the mentality of the team?
I think the biggest thing was we had to. So, new head coach, we had to work alongside him. He kind of had a plan of the culture that he wanted to have, and so we kind of that stemmed down from him. Like the stuff he was putting out in team meetings and stuff, we had to, feed off that sort of thing. But our biggest thing was, and I give a lot of credit to Willie Patterson for it, was player meetings. and that was we had them once a week, usually after games, but even in training camp we had them, and it was like, what do we want? What do we want this team to be? And we kind of got everyone pitching in ideas of what team goals we want, and defensively, offensively, what goals we want to have, and can we go hit those goals? Because then you start striding for something, and once you start aiming for something, then you can keep going further and further and further. Um, so it was that, and then the biggest thing was just being energetic, being excited to play football, because these Czech guys hadn't won a lot of games. Like they won one game in 2 years. And that's miserable. So it was about coming in, being excited to play. If some guy makes a play, getting on and being like, "Let's go." Um, so they building their confidence was the biggest thing, because if you're confident, you play 10 times better than when you're not confident. Um, so as soon as these boys got confident, that's when it was like, okay, we can go on a run here a little bit. Um, and it took us a couple of weeks. The first two games, we lost two back to back. Frustrating, because Vienna week one, obviously Vienna's probably the best team in the ELF by far, but we knew if we were going to beat them, we had to catch them week one, and we missed that opportunity. And then week two was Hamburg, and we just didn't finish. So two very frustrating losses, and then the week after that we had Throners, which was, you know we knew they were a weaker side, but it was a good bounce back game for us and got a big win. And then then we started building momentum. Um, had a big win against Poland, and then that's when the Czech guys really were like, "Oh wait, we can. This is a team. Like we can push for the playoffs here," because they hadn't beaten Poland before. Um, and then go back to Hamburg, beat Hamburg, go into Frankfurt, which is an amazing place to play football. It's a great atmosphere. Beat them, and it's like, oh, okay, now for 4-2, we're in the playoff. We're in the playoff hunt. So, um, then as the season goes on, it doesn't always fold out that way, but they had confidence in themselves, being like, yeah, no, we can actually hang with all these guys in this league. We can hang with any team. Um, so yeah, it was about building that confidence up, and I think we were able to do that just from being our positive, energetic selves, and then also just letting the Czech guys speak up more, because I think a lot of the time they just dug themselves into a hole. Um, so they started coming out of their shells a bit, showing their personality, and that's when the team really took off. Was when those guys started sharing, their thoughts and how they wanted the team to be like. So
Mm. How much of a role does that energy and confidence play? Because you mentioned that quite a few times, and I know for a fact from playing on with you on the Titans and seeing you at GB, like that's it. Pretty much sums you up. Just
yeah,
energy. And you mentioned there, like, obviously, new head coach coming into Prague. It's pretty tough if you've won, like, what was it, one game in 2 years or something like that?
yeah, one
And
game in 2 years.
everyone wants a winning culture. Like there isn't a head coach that sets out for a losing culture. Saying it and doing it are two very different things. And then coming off the back of, I know you had a tough start to the season, losing the first two games after you're trying to get things together and build momentum. What was that like having lost those first two games? Was it a case of you're looking at it thinking, we are building here. Like this is a massive improvement. The mentality is right. The attitude's good. The energy's good. Even though you've not necessarily built the confidence from winning, you can see like the performances have been there and things are kind of in play and things are shifting. What was that situation after those first two games? Because it could be pretty easy to kind of just accept it, bury your head in the sand and drop down. Was there any point where you kind of had to pick everyone up and be like, no, come on, we're good. Let's go again?
I think it was a weird one, because so Vienna week one, I think the score ended up being like 28-13 or something. I think that was the score, or 31-13 or something. And we come out and we go into the locker room, and I'm furious, because it's like, what are we doing, sort of thing. And you look around, and it's like, hang on, I'm the only one feeling like this. So then I was confused, and then we lose to Hamburg the week later, and I'm like, it's the same sort of vibe. I'm furious. More guys were upset this time. We look around, and then we had our player meeting after the Hamburg game, being like, "What's that about?" And one of the guys was like, "We didn't get beat by 50." So for them, it was a massive improvement. And then for us imports, we're like, "What are we doing, guys? Like, we can win these games." So
Mm.
it was about getting onto that same level of fuck being a little bit better. Let's just go win some games. So once they were like, "Oh, we're better," and oh, these imports actually believe in us and they want to be around us and they want to get us better. It was um, quite an easy turnaround from there, I would say, because guys started believing in each other. Like us imports were just, dude, you made this play on film. Like my favorite thing we did all season was in the play meetings. We'd pull up game film. People would send in clips of their favorite plays of the game, and it's not necessarily touchdown plays. It's offensive lineman getting a pancake 20 yards down the field because he's run a guy into the dirt. Those kind of plays, and everyone's going nuts, being like, "Oh, okay, okay." Or it's a guy blowing up an offensive line and getting a huge TFL, and it's setting the tone of the game. And our thing was moments. If you have 4 moments in a game, that's 4 moments to go win it. And you're going to have moments in a game, and no matter how the game turns out, there's always going to be moments, and the game's going to come down to moments. So that in Throner's game, first game after those 2 losses, first play of the game, strip fumble. Offense goes on, they score in 2 plays. Next play, another fumble. It's like, okay, well, that's a 21-point swing pretty much. And that's when the momentum started kicking in, and everyone's on the side and being like, that's a moment. That's a moment. And that hearing those guys say that was like, okay, no, we've got a culture here, and we're building on it, and it's working. Because that's when they started buying in, and that's when you see the results, and it paid off. So I think that was, yeah.
I like that a lot. I think because that's something that's always been in my head for quite a long time. Is like it doesn't matter whatever level you're at, and I think it's obviously the higher the level, the more important these moments that you're talking about, the more important they become. And it's almost like I think some teams struggle with a bit of a naivety
Mm-hmm.
where they can't recognize these situations where there's there's blood in the water.
Yep.
Like they're there for the kill, and you have to stamp on it and assert your authority and your dominance and push it home. And a lot of the time, I think people don't quite take advantage of it. They don't recognize it. So these player meetings that you had, were they just completely player led, no coaches involved? Like,
No coaches.
did
I
every
mean,
player have like a an equal opportunity to say stuff or like say their piece or anything like that? And
absolutely. I think the thing we struggled with in them was, the homegrown guys chipping in because us imports was so energetic about it and being like, we got to do this, 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 and this. But the way we got them involved was watching the film and was like, okay, send it. I want everyone to send in plays. And Willie Patterson, I would say he was our true leader and he had an incredible year. But he kind of did it all. He took a big leadership role in the fact that he was going to set it all up. He was going to run the meetings, and everybody just kind of chip in whenever. And just the excitement that you saw from guys, seeing getting pancake blocks when you pull up the film, or you get a huge block on special teams, and the whole room just going nuts, and the coaches are looking at us like, "What are you doing?" But in the room, we're all going mental because we know how important those plays are. Um, and my favorite segment was "fuck you" plays. Was plays where you could turn on the film and you say that's a fuck you play where it's just he's better than you, so fuck you. And my goal was to try and get on those plays every week. Now, granted, there was a lot of them from our team, which was awesome. And a favorite was definitely a lineman pancaking someone 20 yards into the end zone and then celebrating the touchdown with Willie. Um, that was against Hamburg, so a big game, and that was a tone setter for sure. Um, So yeah, I think those player meetings were definitely a huge part of why we were successful. And I think the issue we did also struggle with is like after a tough loss, like when we lost to Vienna the second time, we got blown out. It was 35-0 or whatever. And it was like, ugh, heart dropping because it's like, well, we can't win the division now. And going into that play meeting, some guys just didn't want to do it because they're like, oh, we've got to pull up the film. Because we didn't only watch good stuff, we watched bad stuff too. And no one wanted to watch the film because everyone knew that it was just a bit of a shit show. So we lost our focus a little bit that week, and then us imports had a meeting. We're like, we've got to get back on it because you could tell from how practice went the week after Vienna that we weren't prepping well enough. It set the wrong tone for the week,
Mm.
not doing that player meeting. So we made sure we did it every week after that because it was so important.
What do you notice about the practice in a week like that, where you talk about if you've got a really high level of a good quality practice, what's the difference for you between that and one that's a little bit off the boil? Is it like just the noise of the practice, the feel of it, the organization of it? Is it the way that guys are flying around? Is it the conversations people are having? Like, what would you say are the big differences that you notice?
I think all those you've just listed are very good, but I think for me it was definitely the energy. Like our big thing was energy, and you could tell when guys didn't want to be there, or you could tell when guys were like, "Oh, I'm still sore from the game," and it just there wasn't this right feel about it. Like no one was truly excited about football. And I had days like that too. I'm not perfect, but I had days when I was dead silent and was furious at certain things and just was like, "What's the point for not doing it right?" sort of thing. And I was sick of it. Um, but that was one day, and then you have practice the next day, and you're like, "Why the hell was I acting like that? It's not that deep." Um, but I think for me, it was definitely energy and, like you said, just the noise of it all is just guys being excited, even on the sideline. Like they're locked in, they're watching, scrimmage go out or, OVD. They're seeing it all happen. They're paying attention to their position. They're getting excited when guys make plays. And then I think the big one as well is just the speed of it all, like how fast practice flows. If practice flows good, it's probably a good practice. So no stop and starting when you're going special teams, back to offense, special teams, you know. Um, so when there's a good flow, that's usually a sign of a good practice.
Yeah. And just with regards to your energy, I mean, you mentioned there like it's not realistic. I'm not going to say it's not possible, but it's not realistic to think you're always going to be like 10 out of 10, bubbling, like on fire for practice every single time. And you are going to realize you are going to have those sort of slightly more lethargic or slightly lower level energy days. How do you deal with that? How do you pitch? Like, are you able to recognize it in yourself and pick yourself up?
I think my issue is definitely I notice it, but I can't really get out of it.
Right.
I kind of keep digging a hole. So what I try and do is kind of exclude myself so my energy doesn't expand to others, if that makes sense.
Do you kind of like withdraw and just go a little bit more in?
I tend to not talk to people, and I just kind of focus on the play, and that's it. Um, no side conversations, no, oh, if he does this, I'm going to do this, so you can do this. Like, I don't really do that because I don't want to almost infect other people with the bad energy that I have that day, um, which took some time to learn for sure. I mean, there was days where I was miserable and a foul teammate, and it rubbed off on the other people. And then I had my defensive coordinator come up to me after practice, goes, "What was that about?" And the fact that he held me accountable really, I truly benefited from because I'm not, you know, the best of the best. I'm not, better than everybody else, or there is no hierarchy, whatever. It's you're a football player on this football team. That is it. Um, so him keeping me accountable was something I'm definitely grateful for. Um, but yeah, you do have days like that. Everyone has days like that, and no one's perfect. So
Where do you think that energy and drive comes from in the first place?
on a good day,
Any day. Yeah, go with a good day.
on a good day, it's just at the end of the day, we're playing a game. It's a kids' game, and it's fun. So my enjoyment and excitement from it is that it's fun. You're playing with the guys next to you that you're good mates with, probably going to end up at your wedding. You know, um, so that's what got me excited. And then from that, I'm a football nerd. I love football. I study it like a nerd, and the fact that I get to watch film and then go play the game and then make plays because I've watched film on it, that's the biggest rush you can receive. So, in my opinion, for me personally, um, that's the biggest rush I ever get is making a play because I watch film and I know exactly what's happening. Because, like I said, I'm a nerd. But yeah, I think just it's a kids' game. It's fun. I love it. I love what I do. I'm in love with the game, and why wouldn't you want to keep playing it until the wheels fall off? I mean, that's my plan.
Yeah, that's yeah. Hopefully, it's a long time away as well.
Hopefully.
Before we come, I do want to go into kind of like your introduction to football
Hmm.
a bit, but the first thing I want to ask you is, was there with your first year in the ELF,
Yep.
was there anything that stood out, surprised you, shocked you in any way?
Week one, I was like, whoa. So I played for the Potsdam Royals the year before, who, if you look on some podcasts and whatnot, they say if the Royals went and played in the ELF, they'd beat most teams. So I think I'm hot shit coming into the season. Week one, kickoff. I'm in the middle. Start running down, unblocked. I'm like, okay, this is great. See the returner, Yannick Meyer, number 14 for Vienna. I'm like, let's go. I'm gonna make this tackle. You know, like I did at Titans. No, 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 no. Different level of speed. I'm going down there, good pursuit angle, and he literally just runs around me, and I go, oh, well, that's the level. Okay. And because I think I'm pretty fast. Obviously, I'm not, but yeah, when I saw that, I was like, oh, this could be a long year. And then later on in that game, it was like the second quarter. I mean, you probably find it if you go watch the game. I don't recommend watching it because it was a low light of mine. Running back catches a little check down route, and I'm hauling to get there. I'm running, go to hit him, boom, bounces me off, and I'm literally there like, okay. And I was like, okay, I've got to bring a bit more heat with these guys because yeah, they're bigger boys for sure. The size and the speed was definitely the biggest difference. So I definitely had my welcome to the league moment, as some would say, from that first game for sure.
And how did you respond to those moments? Like, what was going through your head? And when you were back on the sideline, like, what were you thinking? What were you saying to yourself? And what was your general feeling? Were you kind of like, going, right, I'm going to go and get mine now. Like, I'm going to fire back and come out swinging, or was it kind of like, fucking reality check, need to have a bit more think about this?
It was definitely a little reality check. I mean, I'd like to say it wasn't because I was in a game and I was focused, but there definitely was a reality check of can you really do this? And then the next series, I make a play, and it's like, no, I'm here for a reason.
Yeah.
So I can hang with these guys, and um, if anything, I can still make the plays that I made. Whether it's uni ball or the GFL or whatever, um, we can still make those plays. And yeah, I think pretty quickly you get over that reality check because you're there for a reason. They wouldn't the team wouldn't sign you if they didn't think you couldn't play at that level. So yeah,
I think that's an important thing for people to realize is like both, like as a player, And for people, for anyone that does kind of sit and watch a game and or supports a team, like you hear people rubbishing players all the time, especially if they're on the sidelines and just go, he's dog shit, he's this, he's that, he's the other. And it's like, even in the NFL, like
Oh yeah,
you can take a look at a quarterback in the NFL and go, oh, he's dog shit. Like he's like, and I'm sat there and I'm thinking, you have just got absolutely no idea. Like you have no clue what the level is and how good they are. It's just the fact is, other people are also exceptionally good. And like you mentioned there, like you've got these, like, the fuck you moments and the highlight plays in the team meetings and stuff like that. And sometimes you just get beat.
yeah.
You
But
just,
then I always look back at this Marshawn Lynch quote: "Is I'm gonna get mine more than I get got though,"
yeah,
and I think that is the perfect quote for how football should be because no matter how good you are, you're gonna get got. Like Derrick Henry, for example, biggest running back, probably one of the hardest tackles to make in the NFL, right? He gets flattened on the goal line by this Pittsburgh Steelers linebacker. And it's like, oh, that's the first time you've seen it. He said, yeah, but it still happens to everyone.
yeah,
Um, so yeah, I think that Marshawn Lynch quote is definitely the best football quote I've heard in recent years for sure because it's the truth.
yeah. So you had a pretty good welcome to the league moment there. And I think, would you say that's been the difference? Like having played obviously British university football, Brit ball, then gone to Potsdam and then gone to the ELF. Is
Mm-hmm.
it's that speed and that pure like power and intensity? Has that been the notable difference through kind
Yep,
of each level,
yep.
as you
Every
said?
level, everyone gets faster, everyone gets stronger, everyone gets bigger. Um, so yeah, I'm at like, I mean, even at Brit Ball or Uni Ball, whatever. Like, if I lined up at linebacker, I was probably bigger than most of the O line. And now at the ELF, you're looking up at 6'8" left tackles, and you're like, oh, you're also 340 pounds. That's a scary man.
Yeah, not just that, but they can move as well.
Oh, it's so frustrating. Especially if I'm blitzing off the edge at 6'8", 3'4". I'm like, oh, beat him with speed. No, because he's pass setting so quickly. Because he knows you think you're going to beat him with speed, but he's also heavy enough that you go for power, and he just anchors down, and it's like, no, you're not getting near him. I was like, okay,
Yeah, I think, do you know what? I think that's one of the things that sticks in my mind when, like, well, I suppose both when Tamworth went to Copenhagen after winning Brit Ball. Again, same thing. Like you've just won the national championship. You think you're hot shit. You think you're going out there. You're gonna beat the Danes. And same with when Titans went to Stockholm. You just think, oh yeah, we're gonna beat them. Like you watch them on film and you think, yeah, they're shit. We'll have them. And then obviously, because I'm always on kick-off kicking the bloody ball, like I have a good view of everything. I just remember, particularly against Copenhagen. In fact, it also happened against Stockholm, and I kicked it, and I just remember it's almost like the sea just parts, and you're just looking at a big ass lane, thinking, "Oh, we're in trouble." and,
yep,
and like you say, that speed and intensity of everyone making the collisions, and it sounds different as well.
oh yeah, big time. Like I had I'd say you could call him a nickel, but like outside linebacker this season. Didn't play as many games we wanted him to. So he did his hamstring, and then he tore his ligaments in his thumb or something, and then he came back for the last two games. And the second to last game was against Frankfurt, which I think was one of the best games of the whole ELF season, regarding of what team or whatever. Um, and my God, did he have a game? But he came back with intensity. They've got a 2 minute drill before the half. They've got like probably 40 seconds left, and they throw this little slant underneath because they got a timeout left. And this guy's name's Curse. Kid you not, smoked this kid, and the whole stadium heard the crack of just shoulder pad on shoulder pad. And I tried to hit him too. I was so stunned by the hit, I fell over in like this little ballerina spiral, and I get up and I just start screaming. I'm like going nuts, and the whole crowd is going, "Oh!" And obviously our sideline's going ballistic because it's a fuck you play, and they don't end up trying to score because they're like, "Yeah, we don't want to get our guys hurt," so they go into the half down, and it's like, okay, that's good for us.
That's a moment.
The moment,
That is a moment. Jesus. I just want to go back to where you were the previous year with Potsdam.
yep,
That's obviously had a massive role in kind of continuing you on your way.
yes,
Sum up that time with Potsdam and how well did that kind of set you up for going into the ELF and playing at that next level?
I think it was perfect. I mean, Europe ballers, they house you, they kind of feed you, but they kind of don't. But they pay you, they deal with the insurance, but mainly it's housing, insurance, and they pay you a salary. So you kind of learn to live by yourself for a little bit, and especially me as at uni. Like I was kind of living by myself, but my mates were always around, and but I was finally living off the contract money that I made in Potsdam. Um, and I think that taught a lot, but I think Potsdam itself, football wise, was the best thing possible I could have had at that moment in time in my career. Um, it opened my eyes to a lot of things, being like, oh shit, I'm nowhere near the level I need to be at. Um, but as well, the coaching is the biggest change because I'm going to go on a rant here. If you compare Britball to GFL, the biggest difference is the complex.
Can we do that? Can we compare Britball and the GFL?
You can't really, but the biggest difference I noticed was the complexity in playbooks because in the GFL you can coach the complex stuff because you're bringing all these guys in as imports to be able to run it. And there's higher level coaches, and all the players know what football is and how to do football, and they're there for football. So you can coach the complex stuff. Whether it's in Britball, the coach might have some complex stuff in his mind that he wants to run and would love to run, but he can't run it because not all the guys are there just for football. A lot of them are there for, oh, it's fun day out with the lads on the weekend, or yeah, we're just going for beers after this, or you don't really have that competitive nature where in the GFL you're getting paid to play, and if you don't win games, you ain't coming back next year.
Yeah.
Um, so I think that's the biggest difference was the complexity of the playbook I had in Potsdam. It was a Division One scheme, and we played it how it was coached, how our DC coached it in the States, and it was a lot of fun to be a part of because there's so many moving pieces, and I kind of got. I mean, I was 20 years old at the time. I kind of got given the reins as the middle linebacker, being like, right, you're making all the checks. If something happens that we haven't seen, it's up to you to make the decision on what we're doing. Everyone's going to listen to you. So if you get it wrong, we're all wrong. And if you get it right, then we're right. Um, so I think that was definitely the biggest learning curve for me was kind of everything was on my plate at that point was calling the play in the huddle. Then I'm checking the play depending on what formations they come out in or what motions they do or whatever. And then still having to do my job and lead the team in tackles or get turnovers and stuff like that. But I love that part because it's more of a chess match for me. It's not okay. I can just go play with my hair on fire and just go. No, it's analyzing. Okay, you've done that motion, and every time I've seen you do that motion, you run this play instead. I'm like, okay. I know what's happening. Um, so that's definitely the biggest thing I learned from Potsdam was just the complex playbook and how much film study is really beneficial on game day.
How would you summarize sort of like the team culture and the attitude and the ethos at Potsdam? Because I think when I first started, they weren't towards the top of the GFL. Like they'd come from a place where they started small and they built and they
Yep.
built. Big time. How would you kind of summarize Potsdam in that sense?
I think when I got there, that I mean, they just won the championship the year before I got there. But there wasn't a single loser in that building, if that makes sense.
I was going to say,
Everyone,
it is a very contrasting situation to you being at a championship winning team,
100%.
winners, bunch of leaders, like already strong culture, and then going, right, now I'm going to Prague, where it is essentially the opposite as well, isn't it?
Absolutely flipped. Yep. Um, so there wasn't much culture building needed in Potsdam. It was kind of you got to buy in. Um, but yeah, there wasn't a single loser in that office in that team. Players, coaches, like there was not a single loser. They were there to win, and the goal was to go undefeated and win a championship again. And the thing I took away from that culture was, and it was something so simple from our DC, and he had a picture. It was basically a bar graph, well, a line graph, whatever it was. It was a graph going up, and each little point was the logo of the team we were playing for each week. And his thing was, if you get better each week, week by week, you keep getting better on this trajectory. By the time the playoffs come, you're going to be playing your best football and you can't be stopped. And I was like, that makes so much sense. Because no team plays championship level football week one. Simple as that, no matter what league you're in. Because you've got to find your rhythm, you've got to find your flow. And so looking at that chart, I picture it every time now, like I pictured it for the Prague season. So if I get better each and every week, then by the end of the season, I'll be playing my best football, and that's what you want. Because I think Potsdam knew they were going to the playoffs no matter what. They knew they had the team that was going to get there no matter what. So they had to try and flip it and be like, cool, we're going to make it, but if we don't get to this level by the playoffs, we ain't going to win it. Um, and that was everyone's kind of motivation. And obviously, back to back is a big thing. Like everyone wants to win two in a row, and then this season they're going for three in a row. They've had some quarterback issues, but they're looking good. So I think it'll be an interesting playoffs for the GFL, and I might be able to go watch the final if they make it, which will be fun. So yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say it's a big difference, isn't it, between kind of stuttering and spluttering your way through the season and kind of just doing enough and then having the mindset of the mentality of like this is 100% the level that we want to be at, isn't it?
Yep.
So going back to let's go all the way back to the start. Let's skip past the Titans for now. We might
Mm-hmm.
where does this passion and love for football come from? When did that start? When did you first notice it?
The first passion came involved. Um, that's a tough question.
Like, did you know that we? Because like I didn't know that we even played it in the UK till I was like 18 at university. So I was, by all accounts, old by that point with no exposure to the game.
No, I played a little bit in the UK because I was at boarding school in the UK before I moved to the States, and at that time, one of my mates was playing, so I went on up there and played a little bit, and I didn't quite get it, but I was playing and it was fun. But it was when I finally moved to the States, that's when the passion kicked in because I could see how much other people cared about it, and I was like, oh, okay, this is a bit of me now because I'm over competitive, I would say. In some cases, I think that also stems from having a big family because you wanna win, you want to stand out, sort of thing. Um, so in the UK, when it wasn't win win win, it's not that competitive. It's just for a laugh. I was like, ah. And then went to the States. It's like, no, this is livelihoods are built on it. Even in high school, like high school coach doesn't win a certain amount of games, he's gone and is packing up his family and moving to a different state. So it's a business from high school up, pretty much. Sometimes even middle school. Um, so I think that's when the passion came involved, and I could see how passionate coaches were about it, and just you know the want to win. and that's when I fell in love with it. And then the strategy part of the game was, probably my second or third year in high school. That's when it came a big part of it. When I, watch film with the coaches and be like, okay, if he does this, I'm going to do this. What are we going to do on the back end? And they start talking to the coaches about, rotations and different play calls and stuff like that. That's when the love of it and the passion really, really kicked in. So
Do you very much like, I mean, you've mentioned it a few times now, you really get into the tactical side and you
I
love
love it.
that aspect of the game.
Yeah, I absolutely love it because it sounds crazy, but it's not that crazy. Because when I first started playing, the guy to watch was Luke Kuechly,
Yeah.
and there's many videos of him on YouTube, and there's podcasts of him, and I've watched them all. And every time there's a video of him or a podcast with him, whatever, he always talks about film and how he breaks it down and how he makes plays on Sundays because of it. So I was always curious. I was like, film can't be that like it's a read and react game, football. You see what's in front of you, you see a little bit of movement, and you're like, okay, that's where the ball's going, go. But what watching Luke Kuechly taught me was, no, you can know where the ball's going before any movement. So his thing, how he watches film is he goes their main formations on different downs, and then on their downs, out of those formations, this is their top three run plays, their top three pass plays. Very simple. And then we do that for every formation he would see. And then you come into the down and distance. So is it first and 10, second and 7, second and 15, because that all changes what's going on. And the way he broke it down was so insightful that I was like, okay, I'm going to give this a go. And it was in high school at the time. So I started watching film. I started, writing down the formations and then running this play out of this and this play out of this. And I started to see a trend, a tendency. And I was like, oh, okay, this is quite good. Go into the game. I see the formation. I go, okay, I know the tendency. Let's give it a go. Make a TFL. I'm like, okay, that's rewarding. That's quite cool, actually. Now, granted, you might only make one play the whole game because you watch film, because they might not run anything else that you've watched. But if you make that one play, that's a moment. It can be a moment. You could cause a fumble. You could, get a pick six or whatever. So that's definitely the fun part of it. And then at uni, we had a lot of fun with it. Me and my boys, Matty Gaunt,
Yeah, yeah.
me and him love to find tendencies. And there was one, we were playing UE one year, and their quarterback's feet alignment would change depending on if it was run or pass. And it was 99% on the money every time. So we'd line up and we wouldn't even see the formation. We'd just wait to see what his feet were doing and we'd check the play call. So if we knew it was a run, we'd send more blitzes. And if we knew it was a pass, we'd drop people back. And I mean, we still got beaten in that game badly, but those tendencies were fun to see. Like when we had one the year after against Notts at home, they did this weird motion, running back motion, and I was playing defensive end, but I knew it wasn't a run. They were going to throw this bubble screen every single time. So from the opposite side of the field, I just went, screw it, and sprinted the other way because you trust what you see on film. If they run it a certain amount of times, you might as well take a chance on it. And we needed a play, and annoyingly, I didn't get the ball out. But yeah,
Does that kind of like you see like you get the wily veterans, you get the experienced players, you get the like you say the people that can read the game.
mm-hmm.
Almost like they have that sixth sense for
Yeah,
what's going to happen, like that feel of what's going to happen before it actually happens.
yeah,
And I think what you're explaining there kind of describes the process of you can actually train that, you can work on that.
100%, 100%. Because football's football at the end of the day, and it's not going to change. So even if, like, obviously, if you're playing a game on Sunday, on the weekend, whatever, you're going to watch that team's film, so you're going to know that team the best, and you understand that team and their tendencies. But football's all the same. If you put on the NFL, you will see the same concepts offenses run. You will see the same concepts. You see the same blocking schemes. Like the level down isn't crazy. You can see a power run or an inside zone, or you can see a cover three sky. Like it's all out there. Um, so the more football you watch, again, the more football smart you're going to be. You're going to be like, okay, I've seen this before. They've got a tight end, but he's like a wing, a little wider. They've got one receiver that side, two receivers that side. Okay, it's probably going to be a boot. You know it's a boot. You can tell the D lineman it's a boot, so you can get outside contained. Bang, there's a sack. It's just little things like that, which I think is the best part about football.
And I think something that for people that listen to this and they don't necessarily understand American football, maybe you're not a fan of it. It's one of those games where I think the level of study and the level of knowledge that goes into playing certain positions, middle linebacker in particular, quarterback especially, would be the same on the flip side. And I think the level of detail that American football goes into with analysis, for me, having the majority of my experience working with soccer players and rugby players and people in other sports as well, is that level of study isn't necessarily there in those sports. And it irritates me a little bit because I'm like, if you actually put a bit more thought into your game and study the opposition, like as you probably know this, but I'm a Man United fan and I watch them play and I'm like, sometimes I'm just like, how are you doing this? Like, are you watching yourself back on film afterwards, as cringy and as horrible as it might be? Are you actually going to reflect on your performance? Do you think that, like, the level of detail that you go into, is it necessary for everybody on the defense to go into that same level of detail? Do you think everyone would benefit from it, or do you think some people would actually benefit from, do you know what, I'm just going to simplify and compartmentalize into my own particular job? Like, what's your kind of thought process and philosophy on that?
I think it depends the kind of player you are. I think more confident players who, they know their job inside and out, they have basically more of a freedom in their own minds to go watch the other team and, make more instinct plays because they've seen it. And if you're a player who is, I just need to do my job and, plays will come to me, then that's absolutely the right thing to do. Is you don't want to spend too much time. You want to know roughly what they're going to do so you can help yourself out, but you don't want to, try and make instinct plays because so we had I'm side tangenting, but we had a coach called Darquez Denard who played in the NFL for 6 or 7 years at Prague, and he came over because he knew the head coach and was like, "Yeah, I'll give coaching a crack." Speaking to him about football was unbelievable because his knowledge of the game was otherworldly. But he made it so simple that you're like, why am I overthinking shit? Like his thing was just read the quarterback. Here's me thinking, oh, I've got to, get to this drop and at this speed so I can then pick this up. And he goes, dude, breathe, take your drop and just watch him the whole time. And I was like, what? Didn't listen to him until week 4 or week 5. I'm like, you know what? Let's give it a go. Get to my drop, watch the quarterback with his eyes. I literally just move with his eyes. I get my first interception the ELF. I go straight up after the game. He goes, nice pick. I go, I just watched his eyes. I go, he goes, I told you.
It's funny
And
what it's funny what can happen when you listen to someone who's played in the NFL for
oh,
seven.
it's mental. It is mental.
Strange, isn't
And
it?
then after that, I did not stop listening to what he was saying because everything he said was a gem. And so his thing was, don't make plays, let plays come to you. Because you're going to have an opportunity in the game where a play is going to be made and it's your job to make the play. Like it's just going to come straight to you. So if you're in your position, you're doing your job, you're going to make a play. So that's the thing I took away from him. Now, back to your original question about everyone on the defense watching film, I absolutely agree everyone should be watching it, but I think they should be watching different things. As a middle linebacker, you want to read basically the whole offensive line at the start because they tell you run or pass. And then after that, you're kind of looking at receivers for route concepts and, where the running back goes. And, if I'm on a blitz, is the running back going to chip block me or is he going to stay with me and the other guy adds in? Like, there's loads of different things. If you're a D lineman, don't need to watch receivers. Just watch the offensive line. Oh, this offensive tackle likes a really steep pass block. Okay, take him vertical, slip underneath, because his tendency is to go really back vertical, leaves the inside lane wide open. Or if this guy's hands in the dirt, it's a run play, so you can anchor yourself, get in your gap, stop the run, little stuff like that for D line. Then DBs, you're looking at receivers. You're looking at, okay, how many steps is he taking? What's the concept here? Formation based, all that kind of stuff. And then the thing that I started trying to do was talking to other position groups about what I was seeing on film. So I mentioned it earlier about this boot play where you get a sack, but we were playing Frankfurt, second last game of the season, and we knew they liked running boot. They had this new quarterback in. He was great throwing on the run and also gave him an opportunity to scramble because of the boot action. Now, before the game, we knew he was going to boot, and we knew the formations that they were going to boot in. But our issue was the D lineman would get caught underneath, lose contain of the quarterback, and he'd have 15 yards to go and, rush for. So our thing was, if I see it's boot, I'm going to tell you that it's boot without saying it's boot. So I give him like a code word or something. And that was it. I said cowboy. It's so stupid. But if you call cowboy, the offense is like, what? They think it's a stunt or, whatever. But cowboy literally meant just get outside that tight end. Just
Yeah.
get outside of him. And he heard me. He was like, okay, cowboy. Just went straight outside. He didn't even care if it was a run. There was a play action. He was like, nope, I'm trusting my guy. Went straight out for the boot. Got rid of the tight end. Sack. Moment. Game changed. And it was like, okay, that's how, working with each other, watching film from the three levels of the defense can really work together. And then there's, plays where the DB's like, okay, he's running this, so I need you out early. So then you covering that, and then he's going to throw the deep ball behind me, and I'm going to go pick it. And it happens. And it's like, we're just speaking it into existence at this point.
Well, I think that kind of summarizes all of it in terms of developing that winning culture. Like, if you want to develop a winning team, winning mentality, and actually have the ability to influence games, first thing, go and watch film, go and study the opposition, know who you're up against, figure out a way to beat them and win your one-on-one matchup. And if you can do that, you can then have a bigger influence on the rest of the team and the other people around you. And if everyone's doing it, then the
Long
opposition,
day.
well, that they've done it as well, because otherwise that is it,
Yep,
game over.
absolutely.
What I want you to do now is take me inside your head,
Okay.
right? Play one of the game on defense.
Yep,
You're about to step onto the field.
yep.
Talk me through your thought processes, what you're feeling. Like, I mean, until anyone's got that first hit of the day under their belt, like the adrenaline's going, the nerves are jangling a little bit. You just talk us through the process of you're on the sideline, the kickoff play finishes, you're heading out there on defense. What's going on?
Run on. Usually have the play call already that we're going to run. We usually had a set two plays that we're going to run the first two plays of the game. Run on. Get the guys in a huddle. Look to the sideline to see if they change it. Gives me a thumbs up. No, still running the same call. Call the play. Turn around, see what the offense comes out in, and take a deep breath.
How conscious and mindful are you of that habit and that pattern of taking that breath in that moment?
I have to do it to settle myself because I get too excited otherwise. Like I said, the adrenaline is spiking. And my thing is, I don't feel like I'm in the game until I make a first hit.
Yeah.
Like I need a tackle. I need something to be like, okay, no, this is a game now. Like I'm here. Um, so that breath kind of like isolates it, doesn't get me too excited.
Was that something that you just started doing yourself, or was that something you picked up from
I
somewhere else?
think, if I remember correctly, it was one of the coaches at Potsdam. Was like, dude, just chill, because I was so angst about it all being like shoulders up high, being like, okay, let's go. Like, and he was literally just like, he looked at me and just went, and then my mind kind of settled a bit. And it was that simple. It wasn't, a 10-minute breathing exercise. It was actually one deep breath,
Yeah.
and it calms you down a little bit. And then that first play is it's like I hope I make a tackle because usually most teams run on the first play of the game. Um, so I'm in on the tackle on that, going nuts, get the crowd involved early, and then from there it's trusting what you did throughout the week. Our biggest thing this year from our coaching staff was you don't win the game on Sunday. You win the game on Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday and Friday. And by the time Sunday comes along, you're just playing a game. You've already won it. If you've prepared the right way, you've already won it.
Yeah.
So
When you've when you turn around out of that huddle and you've taken that breath,
yeah,
where are your eyes? What are you looking at?
immediately I do a full scan. I need to see the formation. So whether it's they're in 11 personnel, 12 personnel, I need to see which receivers are on which side. They might be on a certain hash, left hash, right hash. But it's usually okay. If it's 11 personnel, where's the tight end? Where's he lined up? Okay, it's this. Okay, so I'm setting my strength that way. Uh, you know, they've gone 3-by-1 with the tight end in. Okay, I know they'd like to run this concept out of it or this run play out of it. The main thing for me is formation, and then I try and go, okay, what's the main things they run, and then as soon as I get the visual trigger on one of those three things, bang, go on it.
And then at that point, what's the level of communication from you to the rest of your teammates? Is there a lot of verbal dialogue? Is it a lot of are you kind of
I,
gesturing or
I
moving?
think we struggled with it a little bit was um, vocalizing um, everything that I was seeing because I was almost seeing too much at times. And I'd call out a formation, like I'd always make sure everyone knew the same formation. I'd set the run strength, and then the D line I just kind of leave alone at that point. I'm like, they're going to do their job. They don't need to think too much about receivers and whatnot. If the tight end's off the ball, I'm talking to both my linebackers next to me, being like, if he, flashes across, we call it flash. If he goes back across the formation, we're all going to move on a string, so they all know we're on the same. Like we're all moving off of him pretty much. And if he goes out, we know that it's probably going to flow fast. It's probably some sort of flood concept or naked boot or whatever. Um, so we're flying fast. He's getting out early, and then the guy backside is sitting back, chill out, wait for stuff to come to him. That's pretty much it. There's not enough talk, I don't think. But sometimes it's hard to talk. It's loud.
Yeah.
Like some of these games we played in, it doesn't seem like there's that big a crowd that you get. Oh, it's 3,000 people. 3,000 people can sound like 20,000. It's crazy because the stadiums aren't huge. They're pretty small, but they're compact and they're dense. So those 3,000 sound like 10,000, and it's like whoa. So I felt bad for our offense when we played Vienna and Frankfurt because those places were loud to play in, and they had a tough time
Yeah.
because
And I think a lot of the time there's generally going to be a lot of noise being made when you're actually on the field.
Mhm.
How do you get around that? How do you combat that? Do you just have to try and be louder or
you get more used to it. I think what definitely helped me was I'm going back again, but when I played for Potsdam, the championship game, there was 10,000 people there. Biggest crowd I've ever been in front of for sure. And the first drive, could not, I could not tell the defensive line, who was 2 yards in front of me, what the hell to do because he couldn't hear me. That's how loud it was. Um, so that definitely helped coming to the ELF, where I was like, okay, I kind of know what it is now. Um, but it is loud, so you have to go up to them or you literally tap them. Like you practice it. You go, if I tap you on this butt cheek, I want you to move to that side or bump across or whatever. So you kind of practice it. So when it is loud, they go, oh, he's tapping me. I know where to go.
Yeah.
But you tend to isolate it. You don't really hear the noise on the field until after the play happens. But that takes time getting used to for sure. It's definitely a learning curve.
Yeah. And we talked about what is going on in like through your head when you step on to the field for the first defensive play of the game. What's it like in the fourth quarter? Does it change at all? Does it change slightly? Are you more kind of in the zone? Is everything kind of flowing a little bit easier? I want to say almost like, is it a bit more instinctive, or do you still have
Def-
to kind of keep up that same level of like shouting, talking, communicating, and
at that point in the game, in the fourth quarter, I definitely believe it's more instinctual at that point because you kind of know what their game plan is
yeah,
from all the plays you've seen up until that point. They're running the same similar stuff. They're trying to catch us off guard with this. So it's definitely more instinctual at that point. Um, but the issue I have and that I had to try was not make it too big of a moment. To say if we're down by 4 in the fourth quarter, we need a stop. I can't be like losing my head, being like, no, just do my job, get the other guys around me to calm down as well because they're also thinking the same shit of he's going to try, like, we all need, someone needs to make a play, like, come on. It's like, no, do your job, the plays will come. um that was definitely the difficult part of the fourth quarter, was keeping your head level because you get, like you said, you get excited about it. It's like, okay, I've got to make a play, and you think it all comes down to you when it doesn't. It's like if everybody does their job on the defense, the play will be made. So it's about keeping level headed. Um, but I love the fourth quarter because it means everything matters. First quarter, you miss a tackle, it's like, whatever. Fourth quarter, you miss a tackle, it's like, oh, that could be the game.
mm, that could be the moment.
That could be the moment. So yeah, it's pressure. I like pressure. It's fun.
I love that. I think that's definitely the right mentality. Right, due to time restrictions, I am going to have to wrap this one up for today, but the next one is going to be available immediately. We are going to be digging a little bit deeper into where AK's come from with his footballing career, what's got him going, and some key lessons and moments along the way, as well as sort of the ups and downs, as well as then going into his own individual routine, and then with an eye towards what comes next. So that episode is going to be available straight after this one. So head over, give that one a listen, and enjoy.